everyone, and welcome to episode 114 of the Holding Court podcast. I'm on the road with Justin, and we'll catch up on my monthly challenge and talk about a recent adventure I had at LAX. All coming up right now on Holding Court.
Bum 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 bum.
Your first video podcast experience with Holding Court.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous. I have to be like fully locked in now.
I think you should be used to it for these reasons and more. You are kind of always possibly on camera. And when they get you in the dugout, I do get nervous because guys do a lot of weird things. I've seen guys pick their nose and just do bizarre behaviors. And are you guys aware that you're on camera? I mean, you're aware that you're on camera, but you don't see it because it'll be a camera that's over in the camera well on by the other team's dugout, right?
That was my biggest concern. I was like, dang, we're on camera the whole time. I can't pick my nose now during this. No.
Do you normally pick your nose during the Holding Court pod?
No, but normally I'm like, whatever. But now
you're not paying attention. And sometimes I'm kicking you under the table. And now I don't really have a way to do a smoke signal.
To be fair, it doesn't matter where we are or what we're doing. You're kicking me under the table. That's just you. And it's not on purpose.
I have restless leg syndrome. No, I kick out. My dad used to not sit across from me at fast food restaurants like Long John Silver's. I was banned from sitting across from him. And I kicked your mom the other day too. And we were at breakfast. I can't help it. I don't know what it is. It's just an involuntary response.
Well, we have serious seating chart issues because I can't sit across from you because you kick me. And I also can't sit to the left of you because you're a lefty and I'm a righty, and then we just rub elbows the whole time. So like we have to share a side, and I have to sit on the right side.
I never thought about the lefty eating thing, I think, until after we were together. No one ever really said anything about it.
It's a real thing.
No, it's real. It's real. I'm a real nuisance at a table.
Has anyone been like, hey, do you eat right-handed or left-handed before you sit down at dinner?
Honestly, it has become a question now with people. People do think about the logistics of it.
Yeah. But back to your question, no, I don't know when the camera's on us in the dugout or not on us in the dugout. We know the cameras are always on, and there's always cameras. Sometimes there's a camera like in the dugout that'll like turn into the dugout.
Right.
And the light on top of it's red, so you know it's rolling then. Like a lot of times, usually it's like after a pitcher finishes an inning or after a guy hits a home run, you know it. But like during the game when it's going on, you don't really know when they're zoomed in on the dugout. So you have no idea that you're on camera then.
Yeah. So when you had the camera where you kind of looked over your left shoulder and did the, stare into the camera last year and like looked back at it, obviously that was like a steady cam on someone's shoulder, or was that a
no, that camera? Was because that's what I was doing, like the in-game with Oral and Joe. So I knew I was on camera. So I was messing with him for that one. But my motto is like the safest way to not get caught doing something weird on camera is if you're doing something weird, do it when the pitcher's throwing the pitch. Because the camera's always going to be on the pitcher when he's throwing the pitch. So if you're doing something that might be, I don't know, questionable, like just wait till he's...
What's happening over there?
I don't know. You never know.
Do you want to give an example?
No, I'm just...
like lift a leg and rip a toot, or pick a nose?
Yeah. If you want to do anything questionable, like do it like as the pitcher's about to like release the ball, and then you'll never be on camera. At least live. You won't be live. There might be another camera on you.
Yeah, I think I would try to come up with little things to do to get on there in this crazy viral TikTok world.
We do enough stuff. I mean, everything we do. I mean, technically, we're probably on camera way more than we think. It's just not on the live feed.
I think a good rule of thumb in life, and this actually was told to me when I very, very first moved to LA, was the B camera's always rolling.
That's true.
In life, I think you're not, even if that camera's not right on you, someone is always seeing, and maybe that is the good Lord above, but it is someone is always watching you.
And in today's game, there's 15, 20 cameras around the stadium. So
right. I think it was
more than just a B camera, you know.
Hypothetical kind of.
Yeah.
But yeah. Have you missed us? You weren't on the episode last week, and I know you get really jealous and upset, and you're pretty down on days when I have to record the podcast without you. And I don't know. You didn't listen to the episode, did you? You heard me editing it.
I heard you editing it. I heard clips of it. I actually enjoy listening to Lana's episodes because her voice is like so soothing.
I know. I always tell her she would be a good phone sex operator. She has a really good tone.
Her tone is
but it's fantastic. Calming, which I think is good for a therapist.
Yeah, so I enjoy her episodes.
But you didn't listen to that one?
Not all of it, no.
So you like the 2 clips that I posted?
A few clips, because you were asking me which clips you should post, so I've heard a little bit of it. But no, I used to watch. I used to go back and listen to every single episode, and I haven't for like the last maybe 15 or 20. I haven't listened to.
I've noticed that we were down a listener, and I've been racking my brain trying to figure out who it could be and trying to see if there was maybe someone I could get on the show to reel them back in, and just now I know it's you.
Well, to be honest, you drove me away. And let me tell you why you drove me away. You used to accuse me of only going back and listening to the episodes that I was on. And you said I'd never go back and listen to the episodes where you had other guests on, which is completely not true.
It kind of is.
So I said, you know what?
You've missed episode 113 of the Holding Court podcast.
You know what? I'm just not going to listen to any of them.
Wow. I don't even have anything to say to that.
No, I do have a few but I'm on most of them, but with the ones that I'm not on, I do want to go back and listen to them all.
Okay. That's going to be a long flight. You need to take like a 15-hour flight and just go back.
Yeah, I would say it's probably like 7 or 8 episodes that I wasn't on that I need to catch up on.
Would you have liked to be on that episode with us?
No, because I think for you, it's good to not have me on here sometimes, and for you to be able to just venture off and go out on your own and do it and crush it and see that it's not as scary as you think it is, because you do have a hard time sometimes, like getting ready for these things and the anxiety and all that going through it. And I think me being on it kind of feeds some of that. So when you have other guests on and I'm not around and you go through it and do it, I think it's big for your confidence.
Wow. You're my weighted blanket of the podcast?
Yeah, I'm your crutch. I'm your crutch. And sometimes you just gotta...
Or people enjoy us together on the podcast.
Oh, I definitely enjoy doing the podcast with you. I think it's... I mean, not that we don't have like great conversations all the time, but like this is an hour of like great conversation with my wife. You know, it's awesome.
Without phones in our hand.
Without phones.
My phone is right here because I have notes. You know I have to have notes, but I'm not.
And I usually have the notes on my phone too. And I act like I'm reading the notes, but I'm probably on Twitter.
I will look over at you. And that was honestly one of my fears of starting to do the video podcast, even though everyone said they would prefer it. I didn't know a lot of people watched podcasts. I thought they wanted it for the clips, but I guess people will actually sit there and watch full episodes, which is kind of cool. But is you not paying attention?
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll finish a sentence and I'm waiting for you to pick up the next part. And then I just think, okay, I guess I'll keep going. No feedback from the other side, but it's a long time to stay focused on something. I get it.
Well, the last thing I want to do is like cut you off from a thought. That's your podcast. Like these are your thoughts that are going out. I don't want to cut you off. And sometimes I don't know when you've completed what you wanted to say. So then there's that like little space of silence. And I'm like, oh crap. She wanted me to talk right there.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I just don't want to cut you off.
But I think with the video, as I just cut you off right there, I think with the video, it's harder because when we would record before, there would sometimes be starting and stopping. If something came up or dogs, whatever, someone knocked on the door, we could just pause. I think with this, it's going to be a little harder to stop. We just have to keep rolling.
Well, I think it's going to be better because it's going to be more raw, yeah, and unedited. And I mean,
I never really edited, but just the stop and start.
Yeah, which will be easier on you actually because you are the producer of the show. So if any of that stuff has to be cut or edited or seamed back together or whatnot, you do all that after this. So this is actually going to be easier on you just to hit stop record and post it and then pick out which video clips you want.
Yeah. Like I'm not going to be able to edit out this construction in downtown Cleveland right now, but we're just going to have to roll with it. But I am on the road with you.
Yep.
And it's a little different this time because this is actually the Red Sox family trip. So how it works, every team is different when it comes to travel. They have different rules. With New York, it was, I think they only did a family trip, but you had to have a ring. So you could be engaged, you could be married if you went on it. I didn't go on it. I don't even think I was in town. I think I was still back in LA working. And LA, it started out no travel, then it kind of moved into the very last leg of the trip. And then sometimes if there was a weird in between, if it was Sunday night baseball or kind of a city that didn't really have a lot of flight options, we'd be allowed to fly in the in between. And then I think there was a family trip. It was normally
Miami a lot.
Yeah, a 2-city trip that was kind of a desirable spot. So normally the Chicago trips are really popular. New York trips, like you said, Miami, that sort of thing. But this is the one, we don't travel with the guys on the Red Sox, which I think is nice. I think it's good for you guys to have that kind of time. I think the flights are fun. You talked about a couple episodes ago of the playing cards and hanging out and having all that. And I think when we don't have kids, so obviously I'm sure people that have kids would want to travel a ton because it might be easier, it might be harder, but I think guys can feel pulled. They have to be dad or they have to take care of stuff and then they're not able to bond with their teammates and all that. So this is our trip. It's Cleveland and New York. So we flew, I don't know if you love me I don't know if you love me traveling with you for work. You give me the times and technically I'm supposed to have my bags into the stadium when you go to the stadium, I guess, but I always ask you when's the latest I can drop my bags. You said by the 7th inning of that last game against the Rays, which to be fair, the game was actually supposed to happen before. That was a makeup game from a rain out. So I would have actually had less time, right? Would we have flown Sunday night?
No, we would have had to been at the field at 3:00.
Oh, we're flying still on Monday. Okay, so I actually had more time and I still was late. I got my bags to the field in the 8th inning, and then I just had to sit there for an hour and I didn't know what to do with myself, but I got him there.
I know what you did. You went and walked to the liquor store, got drinks for the flight, which was huge.
I got a bottle of tequila and I think it's called Tres Agaves mix. It's the cleanest margarita mix. Obviously, if you're going to make your own at home, you'll do a skinny marg. You'll do lime, agave, and Cointreau.
Soda water.
I always want to say like the weirdest.
Whatever. You do soda water.
Yeah, and soda water, some salt. But this is the cleanest mix. It's just lime juice and I think agave and I'm sure like citric acid and some sort of additive in there. But it's very good. And I went and picked it up because I don't know. And it was a hit. It was great. And it's probably a different vibe because now you've been traveling for a couple months without any wives, and then to have us just crashing your party, a little different.
Yeah, it was. I thought it was cool actually because obviously being new here, I know I've ran into and crossed paths with some of the guys' wives, but like sitting on the plane and kind of how it works is like the staff is all in the front of the plane, and then the players traveling with their wives are kind of in the middle, and then the players traveling with their wives and kids are kind of a little further back. So it's kind of sectioned out, and then the players who are on their own are in the way back.
Yeah.
And so we were kind of in like a little group of players and wives who don't have kids yet. And it was cool. And I thought it was great. Just everyone was, making their drink and getting comfortable. And, Kourtney was asking me to go to the front of the plane to get this and then go to the back of the plane to get that. And then I need a cup of ice and I need a kombucha and I need a salad and I need some chicken nuggets. So I was kind of just playing.
They were grilled.
Not just for Kourtney. I was playing, flight attendant, bartender for some of the guys and gals.
Trash man,
and making sure everyone had their cups of ice. And but it was cool. It was cool. I enjoy getting to know everyone a little bit more.
The flight, you get spoiled 100%. It is everything you could dream of, in my opinion, snack wise, food wise. And the problem is you see someone get something and then you want it. So you see someone get, there's gummy bears. Oh, wait, can you go find me those gummy bears? I think they're in the front. And I don't like to go up in the front of the plane. I don't like to really walk around the plane.
You don't like to move from your seat.
It's just I feel like I'm in your space, even though it's the family trip. So even when I have to go to the bathroom in the front of the plane, I don't like it. And to be fair, this flight was very short. It was what? An hour and a half, maybe?
Hour and a half.
I feel like it was very up and down. I actually didn't sleep. This might have been the first flight I didn't sleep on in a very, very long time, even though I thought about it. I just watched Family Feud.
Well, usually I get up because it's a normal Delta plane. So we're in a row of 3. And by the way, Kourtney sat in the middle seat and not the window seat. So I was on the aisle and Kourtney sat in the middle seat. I
didn't even think about that.
Who picks the middle seat? Like you literally could sit on the window,
or you could sit close
in the aisle.
to you.
Yeah, okay.
In case
but usually
join the Mile High Club or anything.
Yeah,
I did look over you at one point and I said, "You want to join the?"
Those
MHC?
Words came out of your mouth. But usually when you fly with us, I get up and go to the back of the plane or something and hang out, so you can just like lay down on the 3 seats. But it was such a short flight, I didn't even get up. And
all the moms with kids would always just be glaring at me because I would sleep for 4 straight hours on a flight and I would wake up at the end and you would just see that they were awake the entire time caring for their children. And I just wake up like, man, are we really landing? That was so lovely. With 4 pillows and the blanket just bundled up in my little cocoon. But
Nancy used to hook you up.
Yeah. She would bring me all the pillows, blankets, anything I needed. But no, snack wise, food wise. And then one person made a margarita and then it was, I need ice too. I need the mix. Can I have the tequila? Can I have this? And then, kombucha. They have kombucha. What kind of flavors do they have? And then they do an ice cream run and they had this dairy free because they asked your dietary restrictions before and they had, what was it, like chocolate cookie dough something? Well, I'm not an ice cream person, but it was pretty good.
The first couple of flights they did ice cream runs and I'm like, do you have dairy free ice cream? No. Do you have dairy-free ice cream?
It took me giving my dietary to get it handled.
Dairy-free ice cream? No. I said, hey, is there any chance we can get some dairy-free ice cream on the flight? Come on, people. So like the last, I guess, 3 flights now.
Okay.
They've had dairy-free ice cream. This is the first time they had the chocolate cookie dough one, though. And it was...
Yeah, I'm not an ice cream person, but it was good. I didn't finish it. Good. I almost had a yawn. See, that's another problem. How do I expect people to be entertained by this podcast if I'm yawning myself?
Right.
No, it's contagious, so don't do it. Don't do it.
I'm not yawning.
Stay strong. But I think in general, me traveling with you, we do a lot of things on our own. Just the way that our lifestyle is. I'm normally getting to the cities on my own. You're normally going to work, obviously on your own. You are at the field on your own. A lot of your travels on your own. I think I went to half the road trips this year, or at least like one leg of each of them. So when our worlds mesh, because technically I'm on your program at the end of the day. I'm here for your work. Yes. This is not my show. I always say it's like, I'm in your world. We have different paces. It's almost like Rigby and Moon on a walk. Rigby is the slow and steady guy that you're Rigby. And then Moon is doing 10 more steps a second than Rigby and like frantically going
covering
all
the
over.
Same ground.
But covering the same amount of ground. So I'm the Moon and you're the Rigby. But you affectionately call me HRD. Does anyone want to take a guess at what HRD stands for? It is the human rain delay. That is me.
It is so accurate.
And I think at this point in my life, I would like to think that's going to change. I don't think it's going to change. The best way to describe it, and maybe other people are like this, is, and this doesn't necessarily pertain to this trip because we didn't rent a car. We're walking everywhere. When we get somewhere, say we pull up to a store, a restaurant, wherever our destination is, Justin gets out of the car right away, as if the store is closing in 30 seconds and they are telling people to finalize their selections.
As if I pulled into the parking spot, put the car in park, turned the car off,
Very
looked
quickly.
at you and said, "You're ready to go?" And then I opened the door and jump out. That's what she meant to say.
Very quickly. So me, I got to flip down the mirror, make sure everything's fine, put on chapstick. I got to grab my stuff. I got to take one more sip of my soda water, whatever I have. I got to grab my purse. I got to make sure everything's fine. If I have a coupon in the center console, I got to grab that. It takes me, it's not long, 90 seconds maybe. Probably the longest 90 seconds of your life.
Sometimes you have to put your shoes on.
Oh yeah, I never wear my shoes. So I don't wear shoes in the car. I like to be comfortable. Even if it's a 10-minute ride, they're not on. Or if we're going to an event and I have heels, I don't put them on until we're pulling up. We've pulled up.
Yeah.
We're there.
Yeah.
It's kind of an issue when it's valet and they start pulling on the handle right when you get there. And then I'm like afraid a cup, like a fast food cup's going to fall out at the door if they open it up. Like just a bunch of trash is going to fall out. So I'm always like, 1 second. And they're always very kind about it. I don't think they would ever call me the human rain delay. I'm sure they see it a lot. I think the valet guys would be the best person to ask if this is common. It just takes me a second.
I wonder if it's common in a lot of people.
Are you okay?
my mic fell. Yeah, I get out of the car, I shut the door, I'm like walking around the car and I'm standing there and I'm like, okay, probably like 30 more seconds. And 30 seconds go by and
you make sounds.
I start looking in, I'm like, hey, are we gonna go in the store or you staying in the car? What's going on?
I think another issue is I like for you to drive me to my errands. And you say, if I'm going to drive you, I don't mind driving you. It's my favorite thing is like driving Miss Daisy. You just taking me around. If I need to go to return something, I need to run to Trader Joe's. I love for you to just drive me around, which is weird because I do love driving, but that's more on longer trips. But short errands, you're the best escort. And you even said, I am not going to continue to take you on your errands if you don't clean it up.
Well, the problem is I'm not saying that you have all kinds of stuff going on during the day that you're doing.
I'm a very busy woman.
Right. But you always wait for whatever your errands are. You always wait until I come home so I can drive you to all of them.
Of course.
But then
you're a free Uber.
But then it's like super like on your own pace while running these errands. And I'm like, let's knock them out. Let's like get them done. Let's have some pace. And so we can go home and just relax. And you want to do your errands for like 3 hours.
I don't know if that's true. I think I just operate differently. And I think that rings true. It all just goes back to time management. I'm just really, really bad at time management. I always get everything done.
Right.
I just wait until it has to be done almost. I don't know. Some things like emails that come in, I'll reply right away. I'm good at that. Tasks, things to do. Maybe it's things I'm anxious about or I want to put off. I don't know. Maybe it's even things I enjoy. I'm just really bad at time management. Like if you have a trip the following day, the fact that I've seen you start packing the day before,
it freaks you out.
I'm like, are you going early? Is the flight moved up a day? Or the fact that you can pack in 4 minutes. You need to do a video and share with everyone how fast you can pack for a 7-day road trip. Because you'll say, oh, I'm going to go upstairs and pack. And then I swear it's like you go upstairs and just do a U-turn and you come downstairs and your bag is packed. Yeah. But you shop on the road. I always have what I need. You always end up needing extra things. So maybe
that's
you're not the king of packing.
That's not true.
Well, I guess the California trip was 11 days, but
it was 12 because we had 2 off days.
Yeah, but you had to go get more t-shirts.
And a travel day. Yeah, but it was a long trip.
Okay. Time management is not my specialty.
I think you just perform better when you're up against a deadline. Yes. Like you need a finish line to like do stuff.
See, I like that positive spin.
But
I appreciate that.
What's interesting though,
oh gosh,
is it's not the case like with the foundation. Like you are months and months and months ahead in planning in the foundation. So it's
yes, but are we not writing auction sheets and prepping things the night before always?
Yeah, but a lot of that stuff we have to wait till we get all that stuff in. It's not like we're waiting till the last minute.
But we crush it.
Yeah.
In the 11th hour.
Yeah, but like all the work you're putting in right now on a potential upcoming event that...
Are you going to spoiler alert?
No, I'm not going to announce it, but we have something in the works. We have something in the works that is a few months out, but like you've been grinding on it for a month already.
Yeah.
Right? So like it's not in everything. It's more like your personal stuff that you need to get done. You always wait till the last minute, and part of that's because you always put yourself last. You put me first, you put other people first. You're always like helping or talking or fixing or doing something for someone else, and then you put all your stuff off to the last minute, and then you have to rush to do your stuff.
My love language.
Yeah.
Is doing things.
I love it. I love it, and I hate it at the same time. It's
you benefit from it greatly, but then you see me not get my shit done. So
I would much rather like be left on my own to do some stuff and you get your stuff done for your mental health than you to help me make sure everything's good for me, and then you have to like scramble.
I would say that's fair.
Yeah,
for sure. It's but I will say when we do events, I hear a lot from people that I'm filing permits with or whatever that says, okay, we're only 3 months out. Normally we would be filing a year out. So I still do bring it down to the wire, but I reassure them that we always pull it off, and it does not suffer one bit that we started later than they would prefer.
Again, circumstantial, like a year out, we had no idea we were going to be in Boston. A year ago, we had no idea we were going to be in Boston.
That's true. It's hard to plan.
It's literally impossible to do that.
I know people will always ask, can you do this? And like, are you able to come to this in this month? I have no idea what I'm doing tomorrow, but I'll look at it. Sure. I think, I have been doing my challenge, my mile a day challenge.
Yep.
I think I brought it up 2 weeks ago. So I did it for May, and I did it every single day. I did it with a group of my friends. And it was at the suggestion of one of my marathon ambassadors, Ezra, and loyal listener of the Holding Court podcast. So shout out.
What's up, Ezra?
And I loved it. And it just felt good because with so much travel and everything going on, I like to work out in some form every single day. And that could just be a walk. That could be 30 minutes on the stair climber at the gym, whatever it is. I like to move my body in some form every single day. Partially because I like to close my rings every single day.
Not partially. That's 100% of the reason.
It's an obsession. If those things aren't closed, I'm not going to bed. But I loved it. So I decided to do it in June. I shared it on social and asked people to join me. And I've started doing a little giveaway that I'm picking today, but I'll do more throughout the month of people that are doing it. It's been actually really cool to see it, and I think a lot of people are intimidated when they see a mile or they see something every day. Right. And I had a bunch of people just say, I can't do that. Really? Look at your watch or look at your phone. If you have an iPhone, I know I offended. Oh, I do have to issue my formal apology to green texters. They assured me they're able to have video sex on their phones.
See, I did hear this part.
And they said, what was it called? Oh man, there's something. There's a thing like FaceTime that Android users have.
Like
so
it wasn't Google Chat or something.
It was, oh man, I should have prepared this apology better. But they said, have no fear, we are taken care of on this side. So I do apologize. Ezra is also a green texter, and he ruins every group chat because we can't have iMessage, but it's okay. We'll keep him. And I don't even know where I was going. Oh, but iPhone, if you don't even have an Apple Watch, it'll track your steps if your phone's with you. So if you keep it in a pocket or a fanny pack, it'll actually tell you how far you went that day. And I always say, just look at your phone and see how far you actually moved.
Right.
Because even people that are kind of work from home and they're not moving a lot, they would probably be surprised to see that they're moving 2-3 miles a day, even if they have like a fairly sedentary lifestyle. So people have taken me up on it and they're loving it. And it's cool to see friends getting together doing it. People have been doing audiobooks while they're doing it, getting their dogs out for a walk. Our dog walker, Bryn, is actually took the pups on their mile yesterday to make sure they were keeping up with their challenge. But it's been cool, I think. You've went on a few with me in the morning.
I think people just, a mile sounds like it's so far, and I guess in Boston, our neighborhood, we have kind of a big block, bigger than probably a normal block, but
kind of twists and turns and splits, and yeah.
It's literally like 1.25 laps around our block is a mile, which is like, it's crazy to think of. It's not as much as it sounds like, I guess.
If you're kind of moseying along, it's 20 minutes. If you want to power walk it, it's 17, 18. You have the dogs with you. They stop and sniff and pee and all that. Maybe like 22 minutes at the most, I think, depending on your ability. But yeah, I think just going and doing that first one and then thinking, I mean, we were doing 3 miles a day during COVID with the dogs. And so that ended up becoming just our daily hourly walk to get out and move. But it's been good the days that I travel and maybe the work, because I always say when I get busy, the first thing to go is my workout. I'll say, okay, I'll just end up doing a walk or whatever. So I'll land back from a trip. And if I haven't done anything yet, I'll just say, okay, I'm going to go out for my mile. And I actually wear these weighted little like balla bands, which is part of the giveaway. I was like, oh, these are actually kind of cool to give to someone. So not mine. You'll get a new pair, but those are cool to add. And then I actually had them on my wrists yesterday walking around Cleveland, and they kind of look like little Michelin Man things. And I was like pumping, and then at the stoplight I was doing curls, and I bring them up and start doing little tries. People were probably like, this woman's absolutely batshit insane, but it felt like I got some stuff in and got the arms moving a little bit. So I don't know. I think it's just good to get out, and I don't know. It makes me just grateful. I end up finishing the walk, not to like act like it's this big profound thing to go out for a walk, but it does definitely shift your mood to get out there. And I mean, not fresh air right now because of all of the wildfires, but normally just get out and just be grateful that able to get out for a walk, and that, you know, kind of just take a moment and reflect. It's
been great for the pups too, because we took them to the vet last week and they got like the cleanest bill of health. The vet was like,
I was like, do mine next if you're giving out all these positive scores.
She's like, oh my God, for min pins, like they're
perfect
physique, like 3 out of 3. Actually,
muscle rating was 3 out of 3. Physique was off the charts.
They actually said Rigby could eat a little bit more. He's like in such good like shape, and we're like, we can't tell him if we could give him more food. He eats everything.
I know. Well, then he also got a little diagnosis, but
yeah, it's okay. He's got one bone is a little longer than his other bone in his forearms.
She used the word dwarfism.
Yeah, his paws turn in, and she said he has the dwarfism gene.
But I love him. He's he's the best.
Yeah.
But she said with that, maybe we don't feed him a little more because on his joints, they don't want to add any weight. But I'm not going to tell him about that. I'm not going to even say that she considered more food for him. But it's been funny on our morning walks we're different. Justin likes to stop and chat. I think it goes to me always running late and having to be somewhere. I don't ever really have a lot of time. So if I'm walking the dogs, it's normally I'm about to go to the game, or I have to go somewhere. I'm leaving for the airport, doing whatever. I don't have a lot of time to stop and chat if I were to run into a neighbor, but I love saying hi. And we do this thing, we've always done it, where we say hello to everyone on our walk. And it's always interesting. Sometimes I think people don't hear me. Sometimes I think maybe they have headphones in, maybe headphones I can't see, aka they're ignoring me. But it's just funny to me in the early morning to just be out and you're like, hey, Bill, Yard's looking great. Just mow it. Flowers are looking sharp. How's the wife? How's the kids?
You've never said that. You're ridiculous. You're like going off of what's the Jim Carrey movie when they're in the dome?
Oh yeah. Wait.
He's like, good morning, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Oh, Bruce Almighty?
No, not Bruce Almighty. He's like in the dump. Fletcher or something like that, maybe.
I always think of the 10 Things I Hate About You, where the dad is like, he has this like thigh mat or whatever that thing is, the like stretch master, and he flings it, and the neighbor like throws it back, and he's like, thanks, Bill. Yeah.
Oh man.
No,
but
I don't.
We do say good morning to everyone. Everyone we see, hey, good morning, like how you doing?
And they don't say it back. I'm like,
well, some people do, some people don't. And you just never know what a smile, a wave, and a good morning will do for someone out on the road. You don't know what they're going through. So I try to say hi and give everyone a smile every morning.
So I'm a kind person and I enjoy a good conversation. I am a neighbor avoider. I am.
You are 100% a neighbor avoider.
I think it goes back to I have something else to do, and I'm really bad at getting out of conversations, and I start to feel trapped and alone and scared. And no, I just don't know how to end them sometimes, and sometimes they don't have a natural ending. I start to feel trapped. But I think if I'm on a walk, I normally have something to do after. I'm not just, I have a walk and then I have 4 hours to sit and chat with Bill about his yard and his wife and kids. But I'm a neighbor avoider, and I plan as I'm coming in to our place, I will have the clicker ready. I'll have my keys ready, and I'm ready to go inside. And that's probably really bad. I should be a better neighbor, but we've also never really been in like a permanent spot. I think I feel like we're always in different places. Yeah. I'm just a neighbor avoider. It has nothing to do with us being in a permanent spot. I don't know what it is. I'll say hello. Hi. Did the trash come yet? There's my paper in the bush.
I think it's funny because when we go to events or we go to parties or whatever it may be, some social gathering, you give me so much shit because I talk to everyone and we're always the last one there and I'm bad at leaving. But
that's an understatement.
But when it comes to like neighbors and stuff, you are just as bad at leaving these conversations.
I feel trapped.
I'm like, okay, we gotta
go
that, inside.
Like crazy crystal lady that like I'm pretty sure put a hex on me and I have to avoid her. But she should break the spell at this point.
She really spun our luck in the casinos, let me tell you that, because we were rocking and rolling and it's gone downhill since then.
No, so she gave me this crystal and I don't believe in any of that until it ruined my life. She came over, we were doing trick-or-treating at our house, which is also my birthday, and she said, oh, it's your birthday, I have a gift for you. She brings me this crystal, forgot what it was black, great omen. And
there you go.
She's like your soul, and brings it over and she said, I have this gift for you. It's so rare. You just like have to take it. And everything just kind of, this was actually right before COVID hit. And I don't know, a bunch of other like weird bad luck things happened. And I look up crystals and bad crystals because I'm like, was it that crystal? That lady ruined my life. And it said, I was like, how do I get rid of this crystal? And it said the only way to get rid of a bad luck crystal is to lose it. But you actually have to lose it. You can't intentionally lose it. I can't leave it at a slot machine at Morongo and just be like, oh, I lost it. Or to gift it to someone and they have to accept it. So I was duped by the crystal neighbor. So.
Oh, so you think.
I think she gifted me her bad luck.
Yeah, she got a bad crystal. And she's like, oh, I got to gift this.
Mm-hmm. 100%. She knew exactly what she was doing.
You just didn't have it in you to gift it to someone else.
Oh, no, because that's messed up. Because what if I gift it to someone and then something really terrible happens?
Yeah, then you feel guilty.
So I brought it to Sedona, even though I still don't believe in this stuff. Bring it to Sedona, to the Sedona crystal shop, and I have them smudge it or whatever it's called. Remember them walking around the store? Oh, my heavenly Father. And they
an earthquake.
They brought it around the store with the sage on it.
Yeah, they were like,
she was like doing all, I don't know. But I think everything's been pretty good since that. So I think Sedona Crystal Shop did a pretty okay job. That was when they read our aura too, remember? And mine said that I had a baby floating around me. And then that was right when our friend told us she was pregnant. I was like, it wasn't my baby floating around. It's like, in what sort of, like, what was it in, like, a little UFO or something? I don't know.
It was like a color, right? It was a certain color or something.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, that's the color of a baby. And you're like, what?
Don't put that shit on me. No. Back on track. Time management and walks. You're just different, I think. Well, I don't know. I also feel like if you have to be somewhere, you'll cut it off. You're like, I actually have to end this podcast to go to work.
As a matter of fact, what time is it? No. Yeah, I think on that stuff, I'm more like, all right, gotta head in, I gotta go to work, like something, like whatever.
Yeah.
They don't really know.
I just think when it comes to travel.
Usually it's true, but.
Yeah. Not normally lying, unless it's the crazy crystal neighbor. And there was also the lady who lived in front of our house for like a year and a half in a van. Oh. And if she was out there scrubbing her toilet, it was fine. She was like living in our neighbor's house, but was like using she had like not like an Airstream, but what was it? Like an RV? It
was like a Sprinter.
It was like outfitted to be kind of like her space. And she was always out there, and she just was like, would be like scrubbing her toilets or doing whatever. And she was always down for a chat. She was the one that started joining me, remember, on our walks.
Yeah.
So I'd be like, I have
She had some crazy stories though.
Yeah. So I was like, I have my one time of solidarity throughout the day. She's like, mind if I join you for a 3-mile stroll and tell you my life story? I was like, sure.
Let me tell you about New York in the 70s.
Yeah. That was a wild ride. And yeah, but I think the one thing that irks you with me is my travel and running late. And it actually finally caught up to me leaving LA this last week or 2 weeks ago, coming back from Anaheim. I flew out of LAX. I blame the Tesla. I'm going to blame the Tesla.
I don't blame you for blaming the Tesla, actually.
We rented a Tesla, and I'm thinking we need to experience this car and figure out what it's all about. And I don't know. I just figured, why not? It was an option to rent, and sure, let's do it. So get the Tesla, and charging it. I didn't know you had to go to an actual charging station for Tesla. I thought you could just go to ChargePoint or Easy Charge or what Easy Charge. That's what they say, until you don't have the right adapter. Then you can't charge it so easily. It's hard. It should be hard charge, because that's what it was. But there was no proper adapter. And so I'm going to these places, and I'm looking like that girl on TikTok that tried to put gas in her Tesla. And I'm just thinking, is someone in these apartments in Anaheim looking down at me being like, look at this idiot?
Well, you weren't solo, because we went to that.
I went to a few by myself, though. I went to like 2 more by myself. But
we went to a couple, and we're like trying to figure it out together.
Yes. Looked like clowns. 100%. We look like fools. Like, we look like the guy that rents the Lambo in Vegas and is just like, everyone's like, this guy's the poser. But
yeah,
I finally looked up Tesla charger and plug it in, and I'm thinking, oh, this is free. And then it's like, no, they bill your card on file with the rental car. Whatever. I didn't have to do anything. I plugged it in. It was charged and great. But when I left the rental car place, they just said, make sure you bring it back fully charged or there's a fee. Well, I didn't know the fee was like $30, or, well, I probably wouldn't have paid it, because why would I give someone $30 to like not charge the car when it was whatever? So I am leaving my appointment with Dr. K that I talked about last week, and I go in like Calabasas, whatever, and plug in the car. I'm thinking, I'm just going to get this thing fully charged. And it took I don't even know, 30 minutes.
Yeah, it takes a while.
It really set me back. Honestly, I just think I scheduled my appointment a little too late. LAX is a shit show. I haven't done the LAX where I've returned a rental car. I remember I talked about picking one up when I was driving out to Florida, and that was a disaster, so I should have known. I dropped off my rental car. It wasn't that bad. The shuttle took probably 20 minutes to get there, which is crazy. And then once we're on the shuttle, it was 45 minutes until I got to my gate, or got to my terminal.
Yep.
Which I was talking to myself the entire time, which is what I do. And I'm like, could this thing go any faster? Like, doing those kind of things.
You were also texting me.
I always give you the live feed. I need to have just my own number on my phone where I just text myself my play-by-play, because I always drag someone into. I think I was also texting Christy, and I was like, this is happening. And she's like, that's insane. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And so I get there, And I think my bag wouldn't have made it or whatever. Like my flight hadn't taken off yet, but my bag wouldn't have made it. So they're like, okay, we can get you on the next flight. And I was like, perfect, let's do it. Book it. It's in 7 hours. I'm like, okay, maybe I'll go like meet a friend for dinner or whatever. Let me just check my bags. You actually can't check your bags for another 2 hours. You can't check them until, no, it was maybe 2 hours or 5. You can check them like 5 hours before, whatever it was. So I'm just like, okay, cool. Let me just sit here on the concrete and twiddle my thumbs and like think about what I've done. It worked out. It was fine. But me being the American Express card holder that I am, I know that there is a lounge that has recently opened up in the Tom Bradley International Terminal. I am in Terminal 5. Tom Bradley is technically, it's like 3, but it's not 3, right? It's like Terminal B or something.
It's on the, like whatever. It's on the back side. It's on like the back side. There's like it's like a
middle,
U.
Right?
It's like a U and it's on like the middle.
It's in like the arch.
Yes.
So whatever. So I'm just thinking, I have plenty of time to get over there and get my free food and beverages and post up. And your game was going to start at 7. So I thought, okay, my flight's at 10. I'll be able to watch with this pitch clock. I'll watch the entire game. So I'm like, perfect. Once I check my bags, I'm making a move. So I wait, hang out, check my bags, tell everyone what had happened that I know. I'm just like texting everybody. Check my bags in. And I ask, I Google how to get to 3 from 5. Like, should I go through security? Because technically I go through security and I think there has to be a way to get to the terminal.
Right.
And I get through, I use my Clear, which I have a year trial of. This is not an ad, but Clear is amazing. Mixed with the TSA PreCheck, which if you have some credit cards, they'll reimburse you to get TSA PreCheck. Highly recommend it. Not a lot of you, because I still want the lines to be short, but Clear and TSA PreCheck, I am a freaking, if I would have been there with a minute to spare.
She still wants to run late and make her flight, so don't everyone get TSA Pre.
Safety net. I always have a safety net. So I get through security in a flash, and I ask one of the workers how I can get to Tom Bradley. I said, internet is telling me there is a tunnel. They're like, there's not a tunnel. You have to go outside. Sir, I think you are maybe ill-informed on this. I know there's a tunnel. No, there's not a tunnel. Okay, well, the internet, which is actually the LAX website, is telling me that they are connected. No, that's if you have a flight there, they'll take you on a shuttle. Okay, so I go ask someone I leave the area. And as I'm walking out, you know how there's always someone sitting there that says, like, once you leave this area, you have to go through security again. So I'm like, hey, I'm trying to get to Tom Bradley. That guy didn't know where it was, but surely you know where it's at. This is what I'm looking for. And he's like, he looks over at his coworker. I don't think there's a way to get there from here. Nope. No, there's definitely not a way to get there. Okay. So clearly ill-informed again. So I go out to where I checked my bags. Now on my technically like 4th worker, I'm asking, I need to know how to get to Tom Bradley. Oh yeah, you just go outside on the sidewalk and you just walk all the way down. It's probably like a 10-minute walk. Okay, but then I have to, I already left security, but TSA Pre, going to be nice. But also I don't want to go through international security because it's obviously a lot larger, busier, crazier.
And also like you're not flying out of there, so you don't even know if they'll let you.
Yeah, I didn't know if it flags your boarding pass and they'll say, oh, your flight's not over here, whatever. Because sometimes that's happened. We're like, you're in the, like, it's the other terminal. Because sometimes like JetBlue, it'll be terminal, you check in through terminal 3 and drop your bags, but you're flying out of 4. And sometimes they'll say, you're in the wrong terminal. So the guy's like, oh yeah, let me show you how to get there. As if he's going to give me the secret route. And he just walks me outside on the sidewalk and is like, it's right over there. I'm like, okay, sure. So I turn. You're doing the mile challenge, right? No, I turn on my walk. I actually do turn on my walk, and I'm just dragging because I checked my big bag, but I kept my roller bag because I had a duffel and I needed something to set my duffel on. And so I'm like rolling along. This might be when I actually hurt my wrist, my soreness that I'm experiencing. Now it's coming back to me.
Okay.
So I get over there and I ask a worker, and I ask, am I allowed to go in a lounge? My flight is not for 5 hours. Am I allowed to come in through here? He was like, you don't have a flight going through here? I don't know. Okay, I'm just going to try it. So I get in line. I make the mistake of not getting in the pre-check line. So I'm in the regular line. Go up there and she scans it and she's like, all right, there you go. I'm like, I'm in. I made it, but I have to take my shoes off because it's not TSA pre-check. I have to take my laptop out. I have to do everything, but it's fine. It's worth it. I'm through. And right when you get through security to the left, it's this like beautiful American Express Centurion lounge welcomes you. And there's a staircase up to the entrance, not an elevator. So there I am. Now it's all making sense that I'm like lugging my bags. And
so
like,
this is why your wrist is all messed up.
And it's not making sense. So it's very strange to have like stairs in an airport, but not any sort of way to get your bag up, whatever. So I get there. I'm next in line.
You're really struggling.
I'm ready to go. It says that all I need to do is have a flight for that day and my card. So I'm ready to go. And I get up to the counter and she's like, I can't let you in. Like, what? What do you mean? I have my card right here, my flight. She says, your flight's not for 5 hours. You're only allowed to come in 3 hours before your flight.
Wait, I didn't hear this part. I didn't know this part.
I had to keep something, special. I said, ma'am, my flight's been canceled. Totally just lying. My flight's been canceled. I've already been here for 5 hours. That was another exaggeration, another lie. Can I please just come in? You don't know what I've been through. I have nowhere else to go. Please take me in. There's no room left at the end. And she kind of like looks around and she was like, do you have proof of your original flight being canceled? I'm like, oh, surely. I'm like, shit. She like looks this up online. I'm so screwed. So I just like have this on here and I find like an email that says my gate changed. It says like your flight leaving at 3 or whatever is now at gate 59 or something. And I just like hold that up and she was like, okay, just this once. And she gives me the Wi-Fi password and she's like,
so she didn't even read it.
No, I think I just like, she wanted proof that there was an original flight that was like 5 hours ago. I don't know, whatever. I wasn't taking no for an answer. And so I get in there and it's like the clouds part and the skies open up and it's just everything is free. And if it's free, it's for me. And I get my glass of champagne. I get my chicken noodle soup and my chips and salsa. Post up at the bar. I have them change the game to your game. I'm just ready to go. I plug in my phone. I'm charging. Everything's great. And then it comes to the point where the game is still going and I'm like almost going to miss my flight. So,
shocker.
It's like, I'm like, oh my gosh, my flight's in like 50 minutes. I better find this tunnel. And so I leave and there's a big sign that just says like walkway to Terminal 5.
You text me and you're like, I found the tunnel.
And I go and I'm like in and you're in like you are really, it's like almost like you're in a subway tunnel. Like you're in this tunnel and it's long and the acoustics are great. And everyone's just making their way to their flight. And it is a direct shot. I didn't have to go back through security.
Did you sing?
At my gate. Yes. No.
You always
And I was
sing.
there. And so.
Wait, but where did it spit you out? Like, how did you miss it?
So it spit me out at Terminal 4. Oh, no. Yeah. Terminal 4. And then from 4, there was like another, like it went straight through.
So you never went to Terminal 4. You were always in 5 looking for the tunnel, asking the workers.
So they needed to tell me to go to the tunnel through 4. No, but once I was past security, I was going to be able to access Terminal 4.
Right.
And then from 4 go, I think it's Terminal B.
So if you would have just walked all the way down through Terminal 4,
I don't know if there was maybe like a
it.
sign. I had to have a password. Yeah. It was like a speakeasy type situation. But the fact that I asked workers I asked the clear worker, I asked the TSA worker, I asked the baggage claim worker, I asked the Tom Bradley international check-in worker, I asked everyone where this walkway is. And there's this secret LAX tunnel that I feel like
they just know their like
space.
Especially LAX.
I don't know. I just feel like don't people bounce around or they have to get to other places or they maybe park in a different because they kept telling me there's a bus that it just loops.
Well,
like the Airport Express or something, and you could hop on that bus if you need to go to a different terminal. But my thing was, I don't want to go through security, come out of security, and then have to like even going through like the Tom Bradley security took longer because obviously it's international flyers. But thankfully, once I was in, I was able to just cross over. I mean, it's fine. All of these are very like trivial problems.
Well, you remember when we came back from Ireland and
had to go
the luggage, we changed flights and all that stuff through Boston.
Yeah.
Got back, landed. they couldn't find our luggage. We were like, okay, we're just going to go home. I'll come back the next day.
Oh, yeah.
I come back. I go to JetBlue. Like, I need to get my luggage. They're like, what luggage? Couldn't find it. So then I go to like United or whatever the other airline that we were originally flying.
It was JetBlue / American or something.
Whatever. Yeah. And they were like, well, we don't have it here. You got to go to this terminal. So I went down 2 more terminals, and then they're like, no, we don't have it here. You got to go to this terminal, the original one. And I went back and forth like 4 times before they finally were like, oh, your bags are literally sitting right here.
Oh, these whole things?
And I'm like, what is happening? Like,
no, it's wild.
Guys,
no, it's crazy. And it's, I don't know, it was interesting. So, it was an adventure. I guess it filled a lot of time, and I got my steps in, and I got to trot around, and that lounge is really wild. There was like sleeping pods in there, and the sky in there was stars, and like this is like a child's bedroom. This is wonderful. They have little like work terminals. You could zoom and have meetings.
The lounges in the airports are they're nice. I mean,
I was like, okay, maybe I enjoyed my time here.
I was in the one in Logan because I had to go back for my physical. Remember, my flight got delayed like 6 hours.
Lounge life.
And I was in like this almost felt like one of those chairs that's in like this shallow water at like
the little pool. Like wavy
and I was just like laying in that and watching my flight get delayed 30 minutes. I know. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm never getting back.
I didn't want to leave because I was afraid if I left and went to dinner, I would be back in the same boat. So I just made the best of it. It went by fast. It was fine. It all worked out.
Yeah. This is the first time since I think ever that you've actually missed a flight. Yeah. That I know of.
Did I miss it though, or did I just
you missed
have an adventure?
You missed the original. But
or did it miss me?
I've never seen you miss a flight. Like, it's always panic. I'm going to be late. They're going to cut off bags, and somehow you always
I blame Tesla.
Get it to work out. I blame Tesla too. I agree. Like that was way more of a pain in the ass than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. It was wild.
I was like, oh, this is going to be great. Like, it's going to be so easy. We can just charge at the hotel, which that wasn't even like a thing.
Yeah.
Like,
I didn't have the right adapter.
It was, It
all worked out though.
Maybe some Tesla owners will
help me out. Tell me what adapter I need. I think if it was ours, we would have I would have just plugged it in at the house or something. But I don't even know how that works.
We weren't at our house though. We were at hotels. So
no, I know.
Yeah.
All right. Whatever. Well, that's going to do it for today's episode.
Are we done?
We're done.
Wow, the video stuff flies by.
It really does. Aren't you glad you're back?
I'm so glad to be back.
Friendly reminder to subscribe. And now you can subscribe on YouTube so you don't miss watching us on an episode, or subscribe however you listen to podcasts. And as always, you can rate and review and leave us a YouTube comment. Give us the thumbs up. I don't want to see any thumbs down.
That's right.
My wonky.
That
doesn't bend.
I think we should read some comments next week.
Okay, let's do it. Then I have to read.
That's fun.
On air. It's going to be wild. Maybe I do like a little teleprompter situation.
Maybe.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, and we'll talk to y'all next week.
See ya.
Bye.
Bum 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 bum.